Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, is a man wrapping up the summer he turned pretty, Mr. Shane Beauregard. How are you, sir?
Hola, I'm doing well, sir.
Como
That's all
estas?
I got for you.
Yes. Did you spend your weekend watching re-airs of the George Lopez show? Were you just like so into everything Blue Beetle that it just consumed you?
It did. It was my whole. You know how much I love George Lopez.
Yeah. Good to see you, sir. We spent the last few days, obviously, inhaling the latest from the DCU, right? So we're in DCU
I think so.
into DCEU. I don't know. Tell me, just wake me up when it's all James Gunn and figured out. So that would be great. But yeah, so Blue Beetle came out over the weekend, and there's a lot of questions, not only just whether the movie was good or not, or whether Blue Beetle is maybe going to be a character going forward, or any of these questions, but also based on the fact that it made only $25 million domestically and $43 million total over the weekend. That is the lowest since Wonder Woman 1984, and that doesn't count to me because that was a day and date during the pandemic. So to me, this is basically the lowest grossing superhero movie for the DCEU ever. Now, granted, Shane, I'm sure you could have seen that coming, that statement coming, but is this number to you prohibitive of like, oh boy, we're never going to see this character again, whether we like the movie or not, that this may be something that gets kind of turfed?
That's a good question. I don't know exactly for sure because that number was a little surprising. And I think maybe you can attribute it to not enough people knowing about the character because he's kind of an unknown. But I don't mean this to come off racist, but I really thought it being the first Latino superhero.
I thought, bigger numbers.
I thought maybe you'd get more, bigger numbers because of that factor.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out that way. But we'll see where it goes. Like, I think you gave the numbers out, but I read that it had a $120 million budget. So not a crazy budget for this movie.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like it may have gotten beefed up as it went along, like the effects and everything else, because those early trailers, I was like, ooh, I don't know if that looks cinematic level to me. Because what I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this was originally conceived to be a streaming one for Max. And then it kind of got bumped up as it went along and thought, okay, well, we can integrate this into the DCU, or we can kind of make it into the cinematic family, however you want to put it. But to me, I don't know if that works. And part of it is and we could get into like maybe more directly of what we thought about the movie, but there were questions that I pitched to you beforehand of like, is Zolo Mariduena, or however you pronounce his name, I'm trying my best with the kid from Cobra Kai is literally all I can say, who played Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle. Is he a big enough star, quote unquote, or is he going to develop into a big enough star that he can continue on in whatever they're going to do? Or does the DCU not even give a crap? Like, are they going to kind of do these one-offs and try to just do the best they can? Because we were talking about it off air. Like, you got Aquaman. You got to be terrified if you're Warner Brothers to see whatever number Aquaman is going to do. Because the first one did a lot of money, but again, we're in a whole new world different. With this post Flash, post this movie and everything else, that where the numbers keep going down. But yeah, I don't see, besides Joker 2, which has kind of this built-in audience of sorts and a much better cast, obviously, and a proven one at that seems like the only logical one that seems like it's going to work. And then we don't know where the DCU is going to go. So, and when, like, say, the James Gunn Superman movie is going to come out, or any of these other projects. And then at best, you're going to get the Penguin TV series, which is kind of a part of all that in a way. But speaking of Matt Reeves, we don't know where that sequel is going to land. So do you think DC is in trouble before we kind of go into the movie, or you can kind of maybe talk about the movie and go into it however you like.
No,
sir.
we'll save the movie. We'll table the movie talk for a second.
Okay.
I do believe DC's in a little trouble based on everything you said. I think Aquaman is just a dead fish just swimming,
yeah,
floating, a dead fish floating, as you may say.
Yeah, in
even
a puddle outside a bar, maybe.
Yeah, so even though Jason Momoa has some appeal and people may want to go see it because of him, but I don't think he's a big enough star to get enough people in the seats for that one. And I think there's going to be too much time lapsed until we get to the James Gunn vehicles.
Sure.
You know, even the animated ones he has stoked up. So it's going to be a while. I just generally, I think people have superhero fatigue. I think that's my general, even from going back to Marvel, I just think people are getting tired of these shows and / movies. I think, like, if James Gunn's Superman doesn't do it, if Superman can't get butts and seats, then it's dead. Like, it's dead. And to your point, yeah. I don't mind standalone movies. Like the whole Matt Reeves, I know it's getting a sequel, but it's not attached to anything the DC's doing.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
And we discussed the Batman, and it was a great movie.
Yeah.
So to me, there's nothing wrong with doing great unattached movies in the universe. I just don't think everything has to be attached. So I think the Matt Reeves Batman, second Batman, is going to do very well. I think that's going to be the DC movie. And that's not even a James Gunn thing. That's the problem. It's not a James Gunn thing. So
yeah,
I don't know where DC's going. I think it's going downhill.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat here. We were kind of talking off air too, especially post Secret Invasion. Marvel is in their own heap of trouble. You got Loki coming out in about 6 weeks or something like that. And we'll see how that plays and if that gives kind of like a nice jolt. But as you said, if people have so much superhero fatigue, you almost have to trick people now to being like, yeah, it's a superhero movie, but it's also kind of this. That was that was my hope for Secret Invasion. I was like, oh, it's it's got superheroes, it's got the comic booky thing, but it's kind of a, crime thing, and it's a government thing, and it's a shadowy thing that could maybe give me Winter Soldier vibes or something that we can do. No, it was just boring and forgettable. So, which is so hard to do with that cast. It's a crime against something. But let's do Blue Beetle, because to me, this movie is as straight up of a superhero movie that I've seen in a long time, where it's like, it felt like, this is going to sound insulting, even though I'm going to say that I liked the movie. So maybe I should put that out there. I liked it, not loved it, but it honestly felt like so much of a throwback that it almost felt like Netflix trying to do a superhero movie or it felt like a streaming movie. Maybe that's more to the point in spots to where, but then sometimes it would get into the cinematic, and I didn't hate the tech or the effects or anything. So I don't want to poo-poo it too much, because I was worried about that with the initial trailer, but it does have a lot of the hallmarks of traditional superhero stories that we get from, especially the Marvel universe. I was sitting there thinking, okay, this has some of the spirit of like Ant-Man, the Wasp, or Shazam, because they spread the wealth with the family and stuff like that a little bit. And then, because I was like, oh, is Ted Kord basically Hank Pym? And the Blue Beetle thing is going to be more what, Scott is, and, in that world. But, I also was thinking like, well, some of the techery is basically like almost Green Lantern and Venom mixed together, because you got kind of like alien tech of sorts and a symbiote. So you got all that. So it feels like they kind of did almost like a 80s, 90s family action movie, but with like elements of very familiar characters that we know and have liked over the time period here. So it felt familiar, but they tried to distinguish it just enough between the Spanish stuff, the Spanish superhero, the uniqueness of that, the family stuff, and kind of this 80s and 90s vibe that they were doing, especially with the older tech, that I actually liked that the most. I kind of like that giant beetle plane that they had that like stabs and farts and whatever. That I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. It's kind of cheeky throwback stuff that I was like, okay, cool. And making George Lopez, who I think was in the movie way too much, but as kind of this Mexican Doc Brown, as they call them, I'm like, that's kind of smart to use. So I liked enough of it. There are some parts that aren't really like cringy, but kind of corny is more to the point. So it's not a high level thing. And if they came back with a second one, I'd be like, okay. But I like I said, I shudder to think if this it didn't make any money now, unless it like has like a word of mouth thing go on. I can't see them making a second one. And also before I move on, I think the worst thing about this movie is the villains. And I think now that they've kind of gotten them out of the way of sorts, I wonder where that story goes and if it maybe could be more interesting. But yeah, the whole Susan Sarandon cord tech family drama, but I didn't quite care. So where did you land with Blue Beetle?
Going into this, I didn't have any expectations for this movie.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing or a good thing. I didn't have a bar for this movie.
Yeah, it's just wild to think about with a comic book movie, right?
Yeah.
That we had that attitude.
Yeah. And you make a good point. It did feel like a 90s throwback with better CGI, essentially.
Sure.
Unlike you, I got a little bit of Spider-Man vibes, being the teenager, kind of awkward, trying to find his way and get used to his powers kind of thing.
Yeah. If they put him in school, maybe I would have had that more of a thought. But yeah, sure.
And also, I got Iron Man vibes, and the plot to me was ripped off in a different way from Iron Man 2. Yeah, instead of Justin Hammer making the Iron Man suits, you had Susan Sarandon making pretty much the same thing, sort of.
Yep.
So it gave me Iron Man vibes
Makes
as far
sense.
as that goes.
Yep.
What didn't work for me was, like you said, I wrote it down. Carapax and the Susan Sarandon CEO villain. She was the worst part of this freaking movie.
Terrible names, by the way, too. Terrible.
Yeah. I think they were just throwaway villains, which is a problem with a lot of superhero movies. Like, you don't care about the villains. The sister, whoever played the sister, was annoying as hell. Like, I hated her on screen. Yeah. The whole grandmother stuff at the end was like, what? Like,
it's corny. That is that corny. 90s throwaway, like, family movie shit.
Yeah. So George Lopez, I cringed, but he was okay. But like you said, he was in it too much. And it's like, you just got in the bug plane, but yet you know all the controls know how to fly it. Okay, whatever. I'm going to look past that.
Yeah, they didn't set up how smart or whatever he's supposed to be. But once you're in there and you know it, then you can like, okay, I guess we're here. So, but yeah, you can only complain so much, I guess.
Right. And I felt like I was watching a fast move, the whole La Familia. Like, okay, they just hammered us over the head with that the entire movie. I get it. You're a family that if you join together, you can do whatever you set your minds to.
Sure.
What I did like about this movie is Zolo. And I'm not going to try to pronounce his name like you did, sir. So kudos for trying to pronounce his last name.
Mariduena? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Duena?
His jump from Cobra Kai to this, you could tell he's still a little green in some of the scenes. But man, he made the transition better than I thought he was going to do. And I actually enjoyed his performance in this movie. He was one of the highlights for me. And, you know, the first half to me was fun. Like, again, him trying to, once he got the powers and trying to learn all that was fun. That's about it, though. This movie did a major crime for me. I got bored towards the end of it. I'm like, can we just wrap this up now? Like, wrap it up.
It's longer, too. Like, it's 2 hours and 7. It could have been 20 minutes short. But that's every comic book movie.
I know. It could have been an hour 45.
Yeah.
And it seemed I am kind of crapping all over this movie, but it was just meh for me. Like, it was okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. If it was on HBO like in a couple of weeks, would I watch it with my kids? Sure. I absolutely would.
That's what I'm saying. I think this lives better. I think if this released on streaming, people would be like, oh, well, this is good enough. They should have just released this in theaters. And then, like, now that it's in theaters, it's like, well, it's, you know what it is? Because I'm a big baseball guy. It's a quadruple A player. It's like you would kill it on streaming and people would be like, look at this. But the minute you're up into the pros and you're dealing with box office and being in the movie theaters, no one cares, and you're gonna go right back down to AAA. So like,
Yeah.
you're right in between, and that's what this movie felt like. And like I said, it probably will have a second life being on Max.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do better on the streaming services. Like you said, I think if it was on HBO, me and my kids would be watching this on a Friday night. I think it would play very well on HBO.
Yeah, or even because they'll probably window this with the premium video on demand stuff beforehand. I think it'll do fine there. Get a little bit of interest or whatever for people who don't subscribe to Max before it gets to Max, and then go from there. Sorry.
The only other highlight I have that I actually wrote down was the actress who played Jenny. She's a good-looking girl. That's the only other highlight I had. She's a good-looking girl.
Yeah.
That's my highlights. Zolo, George Lopez to an extent, fun kind of Jenny. Those are my highlights of the movie.
And I like the old mansion and the old, where the dad was kind of his lair and that whole kind of thing. I think they undersold that, actually. Like the whole, this was an existing person beforehand and it has a whole history thing. I think they actually, it seems like they want to do more with that later. Unfortunately, later may not come.
I don't think it's going to come. Now, did you say for the post-credit scene, obviously?
The both? The mid-credit and then post-credit. Yeah, if you want to say that. The post-credit was like, what? What is...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, what?
That was pointless. Okay. I was mad I stayed.
Yeah.
But the mid-credit thing, yeah. Which, again, I don't know if I want to spoil or anything. But, again, it points to they want to do more, and I don't know if they're going to get the chance.
Right.
So that's the interesting thing. And the fact that they let the filmmakers kind of keep it in there, I think they had the hope that this movie would catch on. So let's put it this way. It was, for any prognosticators, they put the number for the domestic thing. I remember them saying that they thought it was going to be upper 20s or even 30. And when it did 25, it was like, oh boy. And I'm surprised. And again, I don't know enough about the international box office or where they put it or how many theaters or whatever. But obviously, that's a very low total when you're under the U.S. When we have a lot of Spanish speakers in this country already. It's a huge deal here, obviously, in terms of the percentage of the population, et cetera, et cetera. But to me, I'm like, you put this movie in Spanish-speaking countries, shouldn't it also do quite well? So that's what's tripping me up a little bit, is like, really? That international number seems low.
Yeah, it does. And it's funny because I'm glad you made that point about like the projected gross was 30, right? And
sure.
It did 25. Yeah, it's slightly underperformed, but it's not like it bombed. I wouldn't call that a 5 million like a bomb. Like, I think Shazam 2 was like more of a bomb, to be honest with you, because I'm sure that.
Well, the biggest bomb is The Flash, because based on how much it costs and everything, that lost a lot of money for Warner's. That was bad. Which, especially for how much they hyped it up as like, oh, it's just gonna be like the savior of everything. So that's insane. How that went. And I don't think, I don't want to do a retrospective on The Flash, but it wasn't that bad to where it was like it deserved to die, but I think it was such a canary in the coal mine of things to come, which we talked about at the time. Is like, well, if that movie didn't work for people and people didn't show up for that, is it because of Ezra Miller and the controversy stuff? Or is this because people are checked out on DC until James Gunn puts anything of his stamp of approval on it? And it looks like not Ezra Miller problem. It looks a little more of like a DC problem. So they're not gonna, I don't know when that Joker 2 releases, but that's probably spring of next year. Probably. Maybe. I'd have to look to see if they put a hard date on that, but like, gosh, to wait basically almost a full year to try to get something that works. Maybe we'll be surprised by Aquaman 2, but I doubt it. I really doubt it.
I doubt it.
So
I doubt it.
That's a tough one. So if you had to give a score, it seems like we're on kind of on the same page. Like, I think I'd give it a 3 because I'm like, it came, it went, it was fine, and I'll move on. But I could probably be talked down more than up.
Yeah, I think I sit where you are, kind of. I give it a 2.5.
Yeah, that's fine.
It was,
yeah,
it's watchable. I maybe on a second viewing, I could bump it up. But again, I got fatigued towards the end of this movie. I'm like, okay. Once the grandmother like grabbed that 50 cal, I'm like, okay, I'm out. Like, can we just wrap this up now? Like,
yeah, I think if I watched it again, it would only go down. Let's put it that way. So, and that's, again, we were saying it might have a nice second life or whatever on stream, but I don't think I'd care. Like, unless my kids were like, if they were a little bit older, and to be honest, if they were a little bit older, I probably would have taken them to the movie theater to see it the first time. But I don't know. Did you find this movie probably suitable because it's probably PG-13?
It's PG-13.
But I feel like it almost plays even younger because I can't think in my head like what would be so bad for like a tween audience, like somebody who's a little bit, like 10, 11 years old.
No, I'd feel comfortable taking my 9-year-old to this, to be honest with you. There's nothing in this movie. Because, I mean, my 9-year-old has seen all the Thors. He's seen the Iron Man. So there's nothing. And this is lighter than most of those.
Right. Sure. Yeah. And there's barely any romantic entanglements. Like, there's something there, but it's not anything.
There's a kiss at the end, right?
Exactly.
Finally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not scary or anything. It's just violence, which, kids get on all kinds of levels these days. Like, my kids were watching Justice League Unlimited this morning. It's the same thing, just animated, So nothing too crazy there. But yeah, this is a come and go movie, and that's why I think, again, that DC is going to be worried about it in some regard. And who knows if it has plans for the future, but I don't even know as a fan, what that future looks like besides that Superman movie. And whenever you talk about Superman coming back, you're like, all right, well, are we going to reassemble with some other people? What are we going to see from the rest of this group? Because a lot of the things that James Gunn talked about was a lot of characters you hadn't heard of or things like that. It wasn't like, oh, well, I forgot what he said about Green Lantern, because I always hear like there's some Green Lantern thing going to happen. But, I don't know. I heard about it as a potential show too. So I don't know.
I know they're using multiple Green Lanterns, and they're using two of them, the Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan one.
Right.
But again, he's rolling the dice on this because, again, it's with characters like this one that a lot of people aren't familiar with.
Sure.
And I know for myself personally, the only one I'm like locked in step to see is the Swamp Thing. And again, not a character a lot of people know about.
Also, that was on that DC app, right? And then that made its way to
that app.
I don't know if it still lives on Max or if it went away or whatever. Because what were those initial titles they had? It was like, wasn't it? What's that show that you liked? It wasn't Titans. Was it Titans? What am I thinking?
It was
of?
Titans.
Yeah, so it was like
Titans,
Swamp Thing, and wasn't there one other or something? Doom Patrol, right?
Yeah, Doom Patrol. Those were the three.
Right. So do those still live on Max? I don't have Max anymore.
They do. Titans, Titans and Doom Patrol live on Max. I have not seen Swamp Thing on there.
Right. So I don't know if they're doing that on purpose because they have plans, or whether it was a rights thing when it all carried over or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Yeah.
Right. But getting back to the box office real quick.
Sure.
And we kind of talked about this off the mics before the show. Thinking about it, going over the current schedule of things, I think Blue Beetle has some room to at least make up some money because it's a vast, barren land, just wasteland out there, folks, in the next couple weeks.
It's real
so
bad.
It really has no competition at all.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this can get legs, maybe.
It's a possibility because it's not getting trash. Like, I'll put the scores out there. I didn't do that before. We put our scores out, but it does have a 92% Rotten Tomato audience score, which is always helpful. 77% on the critic side, with a 61 Metascore, 6.8 IMDb, and a 3.2 Letterboxd. That's not bad. Yeah. So it's just enough. It's It could be in a dead part. It's actually in a quite good spot, like you were saying, because when your competition is, people, I don't think the Barbenheimer stuff is gonna block them. This was again, somebody finally beat Barbie, but it was barely. With their 25, I think beat Barbie, which was still in the 20s, which is nuts. And even Oppenheimer, by the way, kudos to them. I think they're up over 700 million now. It's like this huge number for them. So it's like, God, both of these movies just keep chugging along. Good on them. Because they're both good movies. So good for that. And it needs it with the box office. When we were talking off air about how Mission Impossible, it might have, other windows where it can make its money back, and it might make a little bit of money, but not what they thought at all. Indiana Jones lost them a bunch of money for Disney in another franchise stuff. And then, a couple other movies like Strays kind of bombed over the weekend. I think it landed 4th or 5th, made less than 10 mil. And then the week before, Last Voyage of the Demeter did nothing. That was unimpressive. And a lot of people are like, well, if it had the foreign title of Dracula, the Last Voyage of the Demeter or whatever, like maybe it would have made more. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because again, we already had a Dracula story this year that bombed with Renfield, and that was at least trying to do something different with Dracula. This one didn't do anything different. It was just, we could talk about it another time, but boring, not so great. So I don't think it's going to have legs, and clearly in its second week, it lost, a lot of percentage from the first week. So it's not going anywhere except for streaming. That's exactly where it's going. So yeah, man, we got Gran Turismo coming up. Gran Torino, Jesus, that's how old I am. Gran Turismo coming up. Strays didn't do well. It's not going to block anybody. I think we talked about the Equalizer franchise coming back. Like, none of that's going to be like, oh, I went to go see that instead of Blue Beetle or whatever. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. In fact, outside of certain indie movies, I don't know what the next one I'm kind of, quote, looking forward to is. Like, Bottoms as an independent movie, which is going, I think, New York, LA this weekend. Then we'll have a slow rollout after that. But, again, that's an indie movie. So, like, outside of that and maybe into, God, I don't know.
Yeah. Unlike you, I am looking forward to the final chapter of the Equalizer, because I do like
that's your
series.
And that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, not John Wickish, but good action scenes.
Sure.
But like you said, after that, I'm racking my brain. Like, all right, what am I really looking forward to? I got nothing. Nothing.
And I mean, which is crazy because we're probably about to get into the Halloween stuff or whatever. And if anything, like I said, we're probably going to talk more TV next week than anything because of, Star Wars rolling out Ahsoka. And then we've been watching Only Murders in the Building, which has a few episodes under its belt. So that has some things going on. And then, I don't know, man. Like, the movies, it's just going to be drowning, which sucks because they needed something to pick up the momentum from the Barbenheimer stuff, that it was just like, well, you have all these people in the movie theater. It couldn't go better. And then these movies are just dying.
Right. I think if they would have spaced out, like you said, it's a shame that Mission Impossible is kind of bombing financially at the box office, because
especially good critics scores, especially from us too. I don't know.
It's one of the best movies, especially best franchises, best movies of the year, best action movie I've seen, one of them. And I just don't think, I honestly don't think that they saw Barbie doing what it did. I don't think they worried about Barbie. So if they would have spaced out like Mission Impossible to maybe September, I think it would have just killed.
Sure. Yeah, it's possible. But man, I'm looking now. I'm trying to find like what I would pick. I know you're going to be up on Expendables 4.
Oh man, that's my jam right there.
Yeah, so that kind of falls into the same Equalizer 3 category of like, let's just do another one of these. Let's get it on here. But and then Saw X kind of again goes into that category. The Creator is kind of interesting to me. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that one with John David Washington, done by Gareth Edwards, who originally did Rogue One or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, the excuse me, the big movie I'm actually looking forward to. It doesn't come out till November though, and that's Dune, Dune Part 2. I'm all over that one. But again, that's November. We're not even September yet, man.
Well, Dumb Money, I am very interested in. That comes out in early October. Did you see that? That's the GameStop movie with Seth Rogen and a few others there.
Paul Dano.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really up on that. We're going to start to see Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon come out in October too. So again, some of these, more Oscar-y movies, things like that. It's so sad. It's a very bleak October as far as like horror stuff, because if you expect me to really buy in on Five Nights at Freddy's or The Exorcist Believer, whatever that's coming through, I don't care. And that's basically all of October right there. That's pathetic. So it's gonna end up being back in the game of streaming and what's going on there, because there are a few movies coming to streaming that I'm up on in that time period. But yeah, otherwise it's gonna get into the fall stuff to where I'm more interested in the Oscar stuff coming out or whatever. I know Fair Play is a movie that went through the festival circuit coming out to Netflix that I'm interested in. And yeah, like I said, Killers of the Flower Moon. And yeah, even then I'm like, Jesus, but we're talking like October. We're in August still, buddy. Yeah. Like, this is bad. But yeah, some of the TV stuff is going to have to save us, and including for the horror holiday, because if I don't care about those other ones so much, it's really up to Flanny. I know you're up on Flanny too. Did you see the teaser trailer for House of Usher?
I have not yet. Checked that out.
It's a real basic tease, but to me, I'm just like glad to see Flanny back in the mix. I'm in.
Yeah, he never let me down. He's not let me down yet. But and that's not coming out till November as well. The Killer with the new David Fincher movie.
Exactly.
But again, that's November.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all over House of Usher, though. I don't even need to see a trailer for that, to be honest with you, because he's one of my favorite, going back to Hush. So
yeah, and I'm a Poe fan, too. So, like, if the Pale Blue Eye did something for me, this should do everything for me. So I'm like, hopefully it does something, man, because otherwise it's going to be fucking bleak. So with that said, stay tuned to Recent Activity every single week. It's a must-hear episode. Because I was saying to you off air, I'm like, if we did like a bunch of like question things, should the last question be, is this podcast safe? Are we good?
Right.
Because
we're on thin ice right now.
Yeah. Mentally, physically, the everything. It's all just a bag of hammers. We're fucking dying on the vine. But I think this was good, man. This is a good, I don't know, just a good primer, but a sad one in a way, I guess, of what the state of things are. Keep going to Barbie and Oppenheimer, I guess. If you're out there, keep going.
No. Go see Mission Impossible, please. See Mission Impossible.
That's true. I hope it has a little bit of a longer window because it's Cruise and he'll demand it. But we'll see. But yeah, man, I guess next week we'll do a little TV. We'll get back in the Star Wars universe. Are you excited to do that? Have you seen trailers or whatever?
I've seen a trailer, and you know how I poo-poo all over. I love poo-pooing all over everything Star Wars.
Yeah.
But this one, I have hope for. Like, this one looks legit. Like, kind of like The Mandalorian, the first season. Like, this looks legit. So
sure.
I actually think they rebound off of this show. Yeah,
I hope so too. And I hope that it's yet another show that, even though I am a Star Wars fan, I'm not into, I haven't done the, the Rebels, the cartoons, like all the Clone Wars, all that stuff. So I'm hoping that it's not a homework one where I'm going to feel like I'm missing out, that it's too in the weeds for me, that I feel like I just hope I can pick up with it and just go,
Right.
That's my hope. But yeah, entertain me. That's all I need. And you said, I think 2 episodes drop.
2 episodes.
So, and then every week from there on Wednesdays.
Yep. Wednesdays.
So that'll be good. It'll be right after we record. So, we'll never catch it in stride, but we'll always be keeping our eye on it. And hopefully it's better than the shows they've been doing lately. Because even when you have a bad Mandalorian season, that is tough to swallow. Because everything around it was like, well, we got Mandalorian coming up. It'll be fine. Oh, boy. All right. Good job by you, sir. We'll see you next week for more recent activity.